Let's move on to the constitutional amendment process. The House of Reps during the week voted to effect 71 amendments to some sections of the 1999 Constitution. One major significant one is that they rejected the amendment of Section 9 to allow for a referendum in determining the fate of the recommendations of the National Conference. You were a delegate at that conference. What do you make of that recommendation?
Well, there is a provision for referendum in the Constitution. For certain actions. But I think that recommendation was made outside the Constitution. Because people forget very regularly, and particularly the members of the National Assembly, that what they are amending, the so-called Constitution being amended, is Decree number 24 of 1999, promulgated and signed by General Abdulsalami Abubakar on his way out of power. And what Nigerians have continuously demanded for is a constitution of the Nigerian people, enacted by the Nigerian people, made by the Nigerian people, so that the preamble that says we, the Nigerian people, have made this constitution for ourselves would be true. But now it's a false claim. And if that is what the National Assembly people continue to tinker with, they are merely postponing the evil day. It will get to a stage where Nigerians will resolve that we can no longer continue to live with this lie. And at that stage, we're going to have a popular constitution that will be people-driven. But I don't know what. But I can understand their problem.
What is their problem?
It is to preserve the status quo. Because questions have been asked with regards to the provocative emoluments of National Assembly members, which have been shrouded in secrecy. And there are other issues.
Let's end with the kidnap of the immediate past president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Okewale. You have an interesting theory for making government more alive to their responsibility of securing the Nigerian people. Now, you've said that you believe that those who pay ransom should turn around and sue the government afterwards to recover such money. Would this really have the effect of making government sit up and become more alive to its responsibilities?
Well, under Section 14 subsection 2 of the Constitution, it is well spelled out, clearly stated, that the welfare and security of the people shall be the primary purpose of governance. So every government in Nigeria is obligated by law to protect the life and property of every person in the country, not just citizens, every person in our country. So if, due to the negligence of the government, I'm captured or kidnapped, or my relation is kidnapped, and we are forced to pay ransom in order to retrieve or liberate, somebody who has been kidnapped, I have the right to turn to government to refund the money I might have paid. Because the government is aware. Security people are part of these negotiations. So the government is aware that I'm parting with money. In fact, sometimes I understand. Government also assists people
to pay up the ransom.
To pay up the ransom. So if you have discriminated against me in not giving me money to pay, now that my own relation has been released, I have the right to ask government not just to pay the ransom, refund, also to pay compensation for allowing my relation to be kidnapped in the first place. Because while in the custody, his right to life was threatened. While in custody, he was subjected to mental and psychological torture. And I'm going to ask for compensation from the government. If we begin to do this, the government will have to go back to the drawing table. How do we secure the life of everybody? The other one we're also planning, and that is from the human rights community, is whether a few privileged citizens can be protected to the exclusion of the majority of our people.
That is the use of orderlies.
Yes. If all big people, like they do in other countries, have no access to orderlies, armed guards at the expense of the state, I'm sure government will have thought twice. That how do we protect everybody in the interest of all of us? It goes for medical treatment too. If we arrive at a conclusion that nobody can go abroad for treatment at the expense of the government, those who are in government will fix the hospitals. It goes for education. If the children of the elites cannot go to foreign school, they will fix the local ones. So I think we just have to ensure that we run this country in the interest of our people, in line with the provisions of their rickety constitution.
Let's turn our attention now to our lawmakers. Apart from removing immunity for public office holders, barring tribunals and courts from staying proceedings on the basis of interlocutory appeals, the House of Representatives have also made some other interesting recommendations for amending the Constitution.
Last week, Wednesday, the House of Representatives voted to effect 71 amendments to some sections of the 1999 Constitution. The lawmakers backed the adoption of a referendum for state creation. They, however, rejected the amendments to allow for a referendum in determining the fate of the National Conference recommendations. The other amendments approved by the House border on legislative immunity, local government autonomy, state creation, indigenship, and citizenship. Some others are independent candidacy in elections, budgetary process, life pension for National Assembly heads, and role for traditional rulers. An alteration of Section 7, amongst others, stops revenue allocation from the Federation account to local government officials that are not democratically elected. They also approved the dissolution of local government administrations at the expiration of 4 years, commencing from the date the members of councils were sworn in. While altering Section 59, the lawmakers voted to bypass the president if he fails to sign a bill presented to him within 30 days. A new amendment also makes it mandatory for the president to address a joint meeting of the National Assembly once a year. The Office of the Auditor General of the Federation, the Nigerian Police, the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, and national security agencies have now been placed on a first-line charge from Nigeria's Consolidated Revenue Account. An alteration of Section 241, which inserts a new subsection 2A, bars Nigerian courts or tribunals from staying any proceeding on account of an interlocutory appeal. The House members also voted to include 7 items to the concurrent legislative list, some of which are agriculture, railways, and pensions.
And this is where we end today's episode of the program. These and past episodes are on our YouTube channel, and you can interact with me via Facebook, email, or Twitter. I am Shola Sheyeli. Thank you for watching.